A great day to one and all. Welcome to the pre-board for September 2023 Philippine Licensure Examination for Teachers review for mathematics majors. So for this time, our goal is to discuss items 41 to 80. So I hope that everyone is ready. And as usual, we target to get at least 50%. So later on, if you will get at least 20 out of the 40 items, then you passed. However, if we will not get 20 and above, or let's say if we got 19 and below, that means maybe it's high time as well for us to review some necessary concepts as well. Salamat po. Let's begin the discussion with item number 41. But as usual, for the directions, shade the box that corresponds to your answer. If you believe that the correct answer is not found among the choices, shade E. All right. Number 41. What do you call sets that have the same elements and cardinality? Is it equal, equivalent, empty, or singleton? Okay. So there are some who answered letter B, and there are some who answered letter A. Okay. So, take note po ha, nakasaad po dito, same elements at saka cardinality. So, A nga ba or B? And the correct answer is, if you answered letter A, equal sets, you are actually correct. Take note po, when we say equal sets, these are two or more sets that have the same elements and cardinality. So dapat parehas po yung laman ng sets nila. And dapat, when we speak about cardinality, cardinality refers to the number of elements a certain set has. So dapat magkapareho po yung bilang ng elements ng sets na to. So the correct answer here is equal sets. Be careful. When we say equivalent sets, these sets have the same cardinality only. And when we speak about equivalent sets, it does not necessarily mean na magkaparehas sila ng elements. Yung mahalaga lang ay magkaparehas yung cardinality or number of elements ng mga sets na to. If you answered letter C, empty set is a set with no element. It's also known as null set. And letter D, singleton, it is a set with exactly one element. Hence, the correct answer here is letter A po. Be very careful. Huh? They are equal sets because in the problem, same elements and cardinality. So to those who answered A, great job. Congratulations. But if you answered B, it's okay. At least we know or we knew the distinction between the two. So careful po talaga tayo. 42. A certain set has 64 subsets. How many elements does this set have? Is it 8, 7, 6, or 5? All right, wow. We see that many of you answered letter C, 6 elements. Let's see if you are right. Okay, tandaan po natin ha. A set with n elements has 2 raised to n subsets. And this is in fact a theorem. And in here, we are given the number of subsets, which is 64. So we know that the number of subsets is 2 raised to n, which is equal to 64. But if you could notice, no, 64 could actually be expressed as a number in base with a base equal to 2. In fact, 64 is equal to 2 raised to 6. Di po ba? So we just copy the left-hand side and we have 2 raised to n equals 2 raised to 6. And remember po natin, no? If we have an exponential equation, if the expression at the left-hand side and the right-hand side have equal bases. In this case, parehong 2 yung kanilang bases. And these two statements are equal. It also follows that their exponents are also equal. So yung exponent po sa left side ay n, yung exponent po sa right side ay 6. Therefore, we could say that n is equal to 6. Hence, if you answered 6 elements, you are actually correct. Letter C. The given set has exactly 6 elements. Wow, marami pong nakakuha. Yes, tama po, Ma'am Trisha. 43. The following statements are true except. Okay. Letter A. Is a null set? A null set is a subset of any set. Is this true? 43C daw. Okay. If you answered letter A, actually mali po yun. Tandaan po natin ha, a null set is a subset of any set. This statement is actually correct. Ang B, tama nga ba? If A is a non-empty set, then A has more elements than the null set. Is this true? Or is this false? This statement is actually true po. Tandaan natin, no? Kapag ang isang set with n elements where n is not equal to 0, meaning it has at least one element, tandaan po natin that the number of subsets is always greater than the number of elements in that certain set. So B po is true. If you have letter C, null sets are not relations, this is actually false. Tandaan po natin, null sets are still relations. Letter D, a null set is a subset of itself. This is actually correct. Letter C po ang tamang sagot. Let's proceed to item number 44. If A is a set containing 1, 2, 3, 7, and B is a set containing 3, 7, 9, what is A union B? Is it A, B, C, or D? Kung inyo po matatandaan, ano po ba yung ginagawa natin kapag kinukuha natin yung union ng dalawang sets? Okay, i-comment po, ano po yung ginagawa natin? Okay, so pinag-union, okay. So we combine all of their elements to form another set, no? But remember, if they have elements in common, we are just going to write that element exactly once, okay? Okay, tama. So pinagsasama natin sila pero hindi natin inuulit yung mga elements na na-duplicate or more. So if this is the case, A union B is a set of all X such that X is an element of A, or union is or. X is an element of B. So combining all the elements of A and B to form another set, we have, I'll just copy this, 1, 2, 3, 7. But you see that 3 and 7 were already written, so no need to write it again. And we just copy the other 9 because hindi pa siya nasulat. So it's letter D, the set containing 1, 2, 3, 7, and 9. Ay abaw. Sana all pinagsama. Yes po, Sir Francisco. Push natin to. Okay. Combine. Thank you po. Tama po. Ma'am Trisha, tama po. Proceed po tayo sa 45. If n is okay, this is the symbol for the set of natural numbers. If the set of natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, what is the union of the set of natural numbers and the element 0? Is it A, reals, B, integers, C, rationals, or D, whole numbers? Wow. To those who answered the union, no? So ito, at saka ng 0 ay magiging 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And I believe we know our number systems or our subsets of real numbers. This is the set of what we call whole numbers. So it's simply the union of all natural numbers and zero, letter D. Usually po sa ating case, no, depende po sa country minsan eh. There are some countries or there are some states that their natural numbers begin with zero. In our case po, in the Philippines case, no, our whole number starts with zero. So it's a set of whole numbers, letter T. All right. Mukhang marami yata makaka-perfect ngayon ah. Okay. 46. What is R minus Q? So you might be asking, no, ano bang ibig sabihin nito? This is without, no? This is the set of real numbers without the rational number. So it's like a set difference. So ano yung tawag mo sa lahat ng real numbers pero wala ang mga rational numbers? Is it A, irrational, B, integers, C, whole numbers, or D, natural numbers? Paki-comment po. Okay, let me read the comments. So I could see that to everyone who commented, your answer for 46 is A, irrational. Tama nga ba si irrational? If you answered irrational, you are actually correct. Tandaan po natin ito. The union of the set of rational numbers and the set of irrational numbers is the set of real numbers. That is why if we have the set of real numbers pero wala yung mga rational numbers, so yung matitira ay yung set ng irrational numbers like square root of 3, square root of 2, pi, your e which is approximately equivalent to 2.71828 and so on, at marami pa pong iba. Letter A. Good job. 47. It is a way of naming sets by specifying a rule of what the set should contain. Is it what you call roster method, set builder notation, C, calligraphic method, or D, reduction method? Okay, letter A daw. May sumagot naman ng B o hati po yata tayo. May sumagot ng A, may sumagot ng B. Sino kaya sa inyo ang nagsasabi ng totoo? A nga ba o B? Okay. Let's discuss now. Tandaan po natin ito, mga kaguro. When we say roster method, it is a way, wherein what we do is we list all the elements. So nililista po natin yung elements ng set na yan. Pero in our case, nakasaad po dito na hindi mo naman talaga ililista. Ang sabi niya lang, you have to specify the rule kung ano yung dapat i-contain ng set na to. That's why the correct answer here is actually letter B, or what we call set builder notation. Halimbawa, X is a set of all X such that X is a set such that X such that X is an integer. Parang ganon. That's the rule. That's what you call set builder notation. So careful po ha, kung nilista mo, roster method po yan, or listing method. Letter C, so that's utilizing a rule po. Calligraphic method and reduction method are not. Letter B po, yung tamang sagot. Yes, exactly po. The same as the answer of Ma'am Vasquez, no? Yan po ay example ng set builder notation by using a rule. Be careful po ha, roster. Hindi po siya double O. Yung rooster, double R-O-O-S-T-E-R, manok ata yan. So R-O-S po, R-O-S-T-E-R. Thank you. So at least po, na-clear po sa atin. No? So be very careful po. 48. What set of numbers is the intersection of the set of rational numbers and the set of natural numbers? So paano po ito? Lahat ng mga rational numbers at saka natural, di ba kapag sinabi nating intersection, ano yung common sa kanila? Is it the set of natural numbers, the set of whole numbers, the set of integers, or the set of rational numbers? I could see that many of you answered letter A. Di wow. Tingnan po natin. Ito po yung ating yung relationship po natin. If you could see po in the set of rational numbers, you could see that natural numbers is actually 1, no? It belongs here. So we could actually say that all natural numbers are also rational numbers. This also means that natural numbers, the set of natural numbers, is a proper subset of the set of rational numbers. So ibig sabihin po nito, the natural numbers, remember that the natural numbers, whole numbers and integers, are all subsets of the set of rational numbers. Therefore, dahil subset po siya, tandaan po natin ha, the intersection of a set and its subset is its subset. Therefore, we could say that the intersection of the set of rational numbers and the set of natural numbers is the set of natural numbers. Indeed, tama po ang ating letter A. Good job, everyone. I hope na nakuha po natin. Pero kung union po yung tinatanong, yung union is rational numbers. Okay. I hope na nakuha po natin. Nakuha po natin, or do you have any questions or clarifications? Okay. If there is none, proceed po tayo sa 49. A true statement implying a false statement is blank as a whole. Is it true, false, both true and false, or neither true nor false? Okay, I could see many of you answered B. Okay, salamat po. If you answered B, remember this. Inyo pong makikita, no, true implies true is true. True implies false is false. False implies true is true. And false implies false is true. So sabi kasi sa given natin that true implies false. So you could see, no, that true implies false is actually false. Letter B. So among all of them po, if you have two statements, the implication statement could only be false if true implies false, whereas the rest have true values. All right. I hope it's clear. 50. Consider x as a natural number. What is the converse of the conditional? If x is odd, then x squared is also odd. Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Let me see your answers po. Many of you answered letter C. Now, tandaan po natin, yung letter A po is actually what we call the contrapositive. When we say contrapositive, no, the contrapositive of a given statement is the converse of the inverse. Halimbawa, parang ganun po. So, kung makikita po natin, then x squared is odd. Yung converse nito ay x squared is even. If x is odd, yung converse nito ay x is even. So letter A is in fact a contrapositive. If Q then P, if P then Q, yung converse niya po is tama naman po, Ma'am Tricia. If Q then P. Letter B is actually wrong because B is the inverse of the given statement. Letter C is correct. So you could see, no, kapag kinukuha po natin yung converse ng statement, binaliktad lang po natin. The conclusion now becomes the premise, and the premise here or hypothesis becomes the conclusion. And letter D is wrong as well. So the correct answer is tama nga naman po yung ating letter C. Good job po. I hope na nakuha po natin yung explanation. Tiwala ako na marami pong makakapasa at marami pong makaka-perfect dito. Hoping po, manifesting. 51. The converse of a false implication is it A, true, B, false, C, both true and false, or D, neither true nor false? All right, let's see. May sumagot ng A. May sumagot naman ng B. Let's see. We will choose only within either A or B po. No? So true nga ba siya o false? Okay. Mukhang wala pong unanimous decision. May sumagot ng A, marami din yung sumagot ng B. Okay, so tignan po natin kung sino po yung tama sa inyo. Tandaan po natin ha. Sabi natin kanina, di ba? An implication is only false when true implies false. Di ba? Sabi dito ho, it's only false when true implies false. Ano po? Yung anong inverse ba? Yan o converse? So, true implies false. Ano ang converse ng true implies false? That would be exactly, Ma'am Vasquez. That would be its converse. Babaliktarin mo lang yan naman eh. Yung conclusion magiging premise, yung premise magiging conclusion. So yung labas nito, ito ay magiging false implies true. Tingnan po ninyo dito. False implies true is what? False implies true is very good. You could see po dito ho. False implies true is true. That's why be very careful. This is a true statement. Letter A po yung tamang sagot. So sa lahat ng sumagot ng A, congratulations. Pero kung sagot po natin B, it's okay po. It's not yet the end of the world. What's important is we are learning something. Salamat po. So far, so good po mga kaguro. Ligwak pero natuto. Yan, that's the spirit po. Good job pa rin. Okay. Next number. Geometry na po tayo. In the figure, B and D are midpoints of AC and EC respectively. If AE is 36, how long is BD? Did you go for 12, 15, 18, or 72? Wow. Marami pong sumagot ng C. And if you answered C, you are actually correct or wrong. Let's see. Meron po tayong theorem. No? We have what we call the midline theorem. The midline theorem claims that cutting along the midline of the midpoints of a triangle creates a segment, or that cutting along the midline of a triangle creates a segment that is parallel to the base and half as long. To make the long story short po considering B, boy, is the midpoint of segment AC, and the point D is the midpoint of segment CE, if you connect the two midpoints, there is actually a theorem. The theorem states that BD here is parallel to AE, and not only that, it's also known that BD is 1/2 the measure of segment AE. That's why BD is 1/2 of AE. So kung ang AE po natin ay 36, it therefore follows that BD is 1/2 of 36 or 18 units long. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng C using the midline theorem, thank you po Sir Chad, you are actually correct. Salamat po. 53. These are non-coplanar lines that do not intersect? Did you go for parallel, skew, perpendicular, or non-coincident? Sagot ni Ma'am Trisha, ni Sir Chad, ni Ma'am Nurse, ni Ma'am Basket, ni Sir Jerome, ni Sir Jumari, ni Ma'am Marilyn, ay letter B, skew lines daw, sabi ni Ma'am Suzette Den. If you answered, take note po ha, when we say parallel lines, these are coplanar lines that do not intersect. When we say coplanar, they lie on the same flat surface. At hindi po sila, in this case, parallel lines do not intersect as well. However, we are looking for non-coplanar lines. So dapat nakalay yung isang line nasa isang plane, yung isang line ay nasa different plane din. Hindi sila magkaparehos ng plane o flat surface. And they will not intersect as well. And we call them skew lines. Skew lines are non-coplanar lines that do not intersect. Letter P po, yung tamang sagot. So far, so good, mga kaguro. 54. The orthocenter of a triangle, take note po ha, when we say orthocenter, it is the intersection, the point of intersection of all the three altitudes of a triangle. The orthocenter of a triangle could be found outside of the triangle if the triangle is A. Did you go for right? B, scalene or scalene, C, obtuse, or D, acute? Paki-comment po. Okay, so marami sa inyo sumagot ng C. Meron ding kakaunting sumagot ng A. May sumagot ata din ng B, no? Okay. For 54, I mean. Let's see kung tama po kayo. So take note po natin ha. The orthocenter is the point where all the three altitudes of the triangle intersect. If our triangle is acute, meaning to say if all the interior angles of a triangle are less than 90 degrees, then sure po tayo that the orthocenter, which is the intersection of the three altitudes, will lie at a point within the interior of your triangle, like this po. However, if you have a right triangle, meaning you have one right angle or 190-degree angle there, it is expected po that the orthocenter is the vertex where the right angle is found. So surely, in a right triangle, the orthocenter coincides with the vertex of your right angle. And lastly po, if you have an obtuse triangle, or if one of the angles is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees, it is expected po that the orthocenter will lie outside of your triangle. That's why the orthocenter of a triangle could be found outside if the triangle is obtuse. So letter C po yung tamang sagot, mga kaguro. I hope you got it correctly. All right, so far, okay. Move on po tayo. Kasi sa buhay natin, minsan kapag hindi tayo nag-move on, tayo ang kawawa. Okay, let's move on to item number 55. Which of the following best describes circumference? Si Sir Jan tumatawa. A, the distance around the circle. B, the distance around the polygon. C, the sum of all the edges of a prism. Or D, the number of square units at the interior of a circle. Okay, letter A. If you answered letter A, di wow, you are actually correct. When we say letter B, the distance around the polygon, in our setting here in the Philippines, we usually use the term perimeter. No? So it's the sum of all the lengths of the sides of a certain polygon. Letter C naman po, the sum of all the edges of a prism, no. And the letter D naman, the number of square units at the interior of a circle, that actually refers to the area of your circle. So letter A po yung tamang sagot. Good job, mga kaguro. 56. Two angles are supplementary and they are in the ratio 13:5. What is the positive difference of the two angles? Is it 80, 90, 110, or 120 degrees? Let me see. For number 56, may sumagot po ng letter B. Meron ding sumagot ng letter A. Okay, let's see. What do you think others' answers are? Okay, 5. Okay, ito po. If they are supplementary, ano po yung sum ng dalawang angles na to if they are supplementary? Their sum should be very good. It should be 180 degrees. And now let's solve the problem, or let's answer this question. In my case, I let X to be the GCF, or the greatest common factor of the two angles. So dahil the ratio is 13:5, I let the first angle to be 13x, and I let the second angle be 5x. And since we know po na supplementary sila, then therefore their sum, which is 13x plus 5x, should be equal to 180 degrees. Simplifying the left-hand side, 13x plus 5x will give you 18x. So 18x equals 180. Dividing both sides by 18 gives us x equals 10. This means to say, no, that the greatest common factor of the two angles is 10 degrees. Pero remember po natin, di ba sabi sa problem, hinahanap po natin ay yung positive difference nila. So if one angle represents 13x and the other angle represents 5x, then their difference is 13x minus 5x, which is 8x po, di ba? Therefore, 8x po yung positive difference ng dalawang angles na to. But since alam po natin na 10 yung value ng x, then replacing x by 10 gives us 8 times 10, which is, then the positive difference of your two angles is 8 times 10, which is 80 degrees. So tama po ang letter A, mga kaguro. So siguro yung ginawa ng iba ay iba din. Yung ginawa ng iba ay, di ba, 13:5, so 13 plus 5, 18. Tapos dinivide nyo lang bigla yung 180 ng 18, you get 10. At saka hinanap nyo yung dalawang angles. Yung ginawa nyo is 13 times 10. Yung isang angle is 130 degrees. Yung isa naman, 5 times 10, which is 50. At saka 130 minus 50, it's 80 degrees. That's still correct. Don't worry. Marami pong paraan yung sa math, no? Yes, wala pong problema doon. Yung maganda kasi sa math is marami tayong pwedeng gawin na process as long as legit siya, as long as we use sound mathematical operations or approaches, the better. Exactly po, like Ma'am Nurse Osman, 130 minus 50. Okay lang po kahit ligwak. Yung mahalaga po, meron po tayong natututunan. Salamat po. Letter A. 57. What do you call a subset of a line that has infinite length and has one endpoint? Is it A, line, B, segment, C, plane, or D, ray? All right. Many are convinced that it's letter D. If you answered letter D, you are actually correct. A line has infinite length, but a line has no endpoint. It has no endpoint, and it could be extended in two directions. Ang segment naman po is it has a finite length, or it has a limited length, and it has two endpoints. Yung plane naman po is a flat surface. So ray po yung tamang sagot dito. 58. Suppose lines M and N are parallel and are cut by a transversal P at two different points. If x and 35 degrees are alternate interior angles, what is x? Did you go for 35, 55, 135, or 145? Okay. I'm just quite curious. Marami po ata sa atin ang sumagot ng letter A. Bakit kaya? Because we are having a theorem po, no? That is, if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal at two different points, then alternate interior angles are actually congruent or equal in terms of measure. So, halimbawa po, no? So, yung two parallel lines, halimbawa, ito po sila yung dalawang parallel lines natin. Ito po yung tinatawag nating transversal. Okay? So, angle A and angle B are examples of what we call alternate interior angles. When we say alternate interior angles, so they are the angles at the different sides of they are non-adjacent angles. They are located at the interior of the two transversals. And like this po, no, A and B. They should be located on two different sides. In fact, angle B and angle C are also another pair of alternate interior angles. Take note, alternate interior angles are congruent if the two lines cut by a transversal are parallel. So dahil sabi sa problem na alternate interior sila, so it follows that both of them are actually 35 degrees. So letter A po. 59. Which of the following statements is or are true about, number 1. Paki-comment po sa ating GC. Is 1 true? Angles that form a linear pair are supplementary angles. Is 1 true? Very good. 1 is actually true. How about yung number 2? Angles that are supplementary form a linear pair. Is this true? Yung number 2? Very good. Be careful po ha. When we say supplementary angles, they have to add up to 180 degrees. If they add up to 180 degrees, it doesn't really follow na linear pair sila. Kasi kapag linear pair sila, dapat may adjacent, may common ray sila, at saka they add up to 180. So 1 is true, 2 is actually false. How about number 3? Vertical angles, it's not always true yung number 2. How about number 3? Vertical angles are congruent. Very good. 3 is actually correct. Therefore, 1 and 3 are correct, and that gives us letter C as the correct answer. All right. Pag linear, may third party, nag-aagawa ng isang ray. Ma'am Ayesa, tumigil ka. Char lang. Okay, number 60. Take a look at this figure po. What is the value of x in the figure? Is it A, 11, B, 9, C, 8, or D, 7? Okay. What kind of angle pairs? What kind of angle pair is x plus 16 and 4x minus 5? Very good. Sir Chad mentioned it. They are actually examples of what we call vertical angles. No? Like this po, they share the same vertex, but they don't share a common ray. No? At parang mag-opposite po sila. And we have a theorem that states that if you have two lines that intersect at a certain point, then vertical angles are actually congruent. Hence, we will equate x plus 16 and 4x minus 5. What I did was this x became minus sa left side, sa right side. That's why naging 4x minus x, which is 3x. Yung minus 5 sa right side, magiging plus 5 sa left side. So it becomes 16 plus 5 or 21. That's why I have the equation 21 equals 3x. Dividing both sides by 3, this gives us the value of x, which is 7. Letter D. And if you would like to determine the actual angle, so you just substitute. 7 plus 16, that's 23 degrees. From here, 4 times 7 will be 28. 28 minus 5 will still be 23 degrees. That's why if you wish not to know the angle, just substitute it to any of them and you will get the same correct answer. All right. All right. Let's proceed to item number 61. What is the area in square units of the region bounded by the line 4x minus 5y equals 40 and the axis? All right. So many of you answered us. So far, we have a few people who answered letter C. Okay. So in this case po kasi, no, it would be better if we graph the line, no? And to graph the line, there are many ways of doing this. You could determine the x and y intercepts. So halimbawa po, in my case, I will determine the x and y intercepts. So to solve for the x-intercept, di ba dapat yung value ni y ay 0? So if y is 0, this negative 5y or this minus 5y becomes 0. So 4x equals 40. And that means na yung x po natin ay 10. And the excess. Sir Chad, last na yan ha? Okay, biro lang po. At saka, to solve for the y-intercept naman po, yung x po natin ay magiging 0. So yung matitira ay negative 5y equals 40 and y is equal to negative 8. That's why ito po yung x-intercept na 10 at saka ito po yung y-intercept na negative 8 and we connect them using a line. If you could see po, no, ito yung x-axis natin at saka ito yung y-axis natin. And we see that there is this triangle here. Di po ba? And remember that the x-axis and y-axis are actually perpendicular with respect to the point of intersection, which is the origin. So sure po tayo na right angle ito and that this triangle is a right triangle. We know po that the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 base times height. In this case, this is the base. This could be the base, which is 10 units long. And this is the height, which is 8 units long. No? That's why, by substitution po, ito ay magiging A is equal to 1/2 times 10 times 8, which when simplified is 40 square units. So if you answered letter C, great job po. So we have Sir Chad, Ma'am Jessa, Ma'am Rosel, and Ma'am Ayesa. They answered C. They got it right. I think yung iba siguro C din, nahihiyala. 62. The midpoints of all the sides of a square were connected by segments to form a smaller square. If the area of the smaller square is 20 square units, what is the area of the other square? Is it 40, 30, 20, or 10? Ligwak daw. It's okay po. No worries po. Kaya yan. Letter A daw, sabi ng mga nag-comment so far. Okay. So far sa lahat ng nag-comment, A yata yung sagot ninyo. Let's see if you got it right. Yung ginagawa po kasi ng iba, sensya po sa ubo. Yung ginagawa ng iba, ginagamit nila yung Pythagorean theorem or the 45-45-90 right triangle na theorem. That's a good one po. However, in my case, ito po yung ginamit ko. Ito po yung square natin. At saka if you could notice po, no, na yung lahat ng midpoints niya ay na-connect natin at nakapag-form po tayo ng isang maliit na square. At apart from that, nag-draw po ako dito ng isang vertical segment And I draw the diagonals of the smaller square. And if you could see po, no, the area of the larger square is 8 parts. Bakit 8 parts? Kasi ito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tingnan po ninyo yung smaller square. If the larger square is 8 parts, yung smaller square po ay ilang parts? Tingnan po ninyo. The larger square is 8 parts. Yung smaller square, ilang parts po? Sabi ni Sir Chad, 4 daw. Do you agree? 4 na bahagi lang ba yung smaller square? If you answered 4, tama nga naman. Bakit tama? Ito po, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the smaller square is just 4 parts. And kung inyo pong mapapansin, the area of the larger square, di ba 8 parts? Yung smaller square, 4 parts. And 8 is 2 times 4. Thus, you could see that the area of the larger square is twice of the smaller square. So therefore, kung babalikan po natin yung problem, di ba yung area ng smaller square ay 20? It therefore means that the area of the larger square is twice of 20 square units, which is 40 square units. Letter A. You could see po, no? Hindi po ako gumamit ng Pythagorean theorem. I used this particular ruling or rule or pattern, and I was able to find the answer. All right. I hope na nakuha po natin. Iba man po yung paraan nyo, yung mahalaga, parehas pong tama yung sagot natin. 63. What is the measure of an interior angle in degrees of a regular nonagon? Did you go, oh, B daw, 140. Okay. Just like the previous items, there are many ways of solving this question or this problem. I'll just use one of them. That is the formula for an interior angle of a regular polygon with n sides is equal to IA is equal to 180 degrees times n minus 2 all over n, where IA represents the measure of an interior angle of a regular polygon. Take note, ha, regular polygon. It means to say that each side, that all the sides are equal. At the same time, it all means that all of the interior angles are congruent. And n here refers to the number of sides. In fact, the numerator, the 180 degrees times n minus 2, represents the sum of all interior angles, and n is the number of sides, no? Of course, divided by n. So by substitution po, since nonagon has 9 sides, so n has to be equal to 9. So IA is equal to 180 degrees times 9 minus 2 all over 9, and using your calculators, this gives us 140 degrees, letter B. And I do agree with Sir Chad nang sinabi niyang n minus 2 refers to the number of triangles. Actually, meron pang isang shortcut dito. And ginagamit niya yung exterior angle naman. Di ba? The formula for the exterior angle of a regular polygon is 360 divided by n. Oh, what is 360 divided by n? So n here is 9. 360 divided by n is 40 po, di ba? Tama, 40 degrees. It means to say that one of the exterior angles measure 40 degrees. At tandaan po natin that the interior angle and an exterior angle of a regular polygon are always supplementary. So subtract lang, 180 minus 40, it still gives you 140 degrees. Thank you po, Ma'am Nurse. And Ma'am, yes, tama po. Tama. 64. How many degrees larger is an exterior angle of a square than that of an octagon? Did you go for 30, 35, 40, or 45 degrees? So, kwentahin po natin. Ilan yung exterior angle ng isang square? Ilan yung exterior angle? Ilan yung degrees pala yung exterior angle ng square? Subtract that with the measure of an exterior angle ng isang octagon. Yun na yun. Okay, marami pong sumagot ng D. D, wow. Let's see if you got it right. So we can utilize the formula EA equals 360 degrees over N, where EA stands for the measure of an exterior angle of a regular polygon, and N is the number of sides of your regular polygon. So for that of a square, that square has 4 sides. So 360 divided by 4, each exterior angle measures 90 degrees. How about for that octagon po? Diba 8 sides siya, no? So 360 divided by 8 gives us its exterior angle, which is 45 degrees. Yung tanong is how much more? We have to subtract them, and 90 minus 45 degrees gives us 45 degrees, letter D. It means that an exterior angle of a square is 45 degrees more than the measure of an exterior angle of your regular octagon. All right, so far so good. Magaling, magaling, magaling. 65. I hope na nakuha po natin at salamat po sa pag-comment. 65. What is the surface area in square units of a rectangular box with length equals 8, width equals 7, and height equals 5? Okay, letter E daw. Okay, letter E daw. 262 dapat, sabi ni Sir Jason. At saka ni... Marami pong sumagot ng E. Okay, let's have the discussion of the answer now. So I hope you are familiar with the formula for the surface area of a rectangular prism. And actually, no, so we have here the formula. That's twice the sum of LW plus LH plus WH, where L, W, and H represents the length, width, and height of your rectangular prism. Okay, so I do agree with you also, no, with Sir Jerome Bantillan, when he said that surface area is equal to the lateral area plus the 2 bases. But in this case, we could also have this one as a direct formula. So knowing that length is 8, width is 7, and H is 5, and by substitution, you will get SA is equal to twice of 8 plus times 7 plus 8 times 5 plus 7 times 5. Inside, what the numbers inside the parentheses simplifies to 56, 40, and 35. 56, 40, and 35 add up to 131. And twice of that is 262 square units. You could see po that it's not one of the choices. Therefore, the correct answer for number 65 is actually letter E. Because based on our instructions, again, if the correct answer is not found among the choices, you have to shade E. Good job, everyone. Okay. 66. May tanong po? Paki-comment na lang po kung may tanong po tayo, ha? Huwag po tayong mahiyang magtanong. 66. A right cylindrical tin can has a radius of 3 cm. If its surface area is 60 pi cm squared, what is its height in cm? Wow, we see 7 as the answer. It's the common answer of everyone who commented. Okay. Kung inyo pong matatandaan, ano po ba yung formula ng surface area ng isang cylinder? That is, to make it simple, the formula for surface area of a cylinder, or SA, is equal to 2 pi r times the quantity r plus h. So so to make it simple po ha, Sir Chat, please check your formula po siguro. Paki-check po, yan po. So it's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. But in the said formula, you could see no, that 2 pi r is in fact the greatest common factor. So I factor it out, giving us 2 pi r times the quantity r plus h. But to make it simple, no, kasi yung mga students ko dati, sir, parang napakahirap naman atang i-memorize ng formula. So yung ginawa ko, okay, to make it simple, the formula for the surface area of a cylinder is just, di ba, ano yung 2 pi r? 2 pi r, formula to ng ano? Formula siya lang ano, yung 2 pi r. Very good. It's the circumference. So to make it simple, no, the surface area of a cylinder is equal to the circumference of a circle multiplied by the sum of the radius and the height. By substitution, alam natin na yung surface na yung r natin is 3 and the surface area is 60 pi. So by substitution, that 60 pi is equal to 2 times pi times r natin, which is 3 times. That's why all r's were replaced by 3. So 3 plus h. You could see I copy the left-hand side into 60 pi. 2 times pi times 3 is 6 pi. And what I did next was I divided both sides by 6 pi. So 60 pi divided by 6 pi will be 10. This divided by 6 pi, makakancel po yung 6 pi. What will be left will be 3 plus h. And adding both sides by -3, we have 7 equals the height. Therefore, the cylinder po natin has a height of 7. Letter A. Good job, everyone. I hope na nakuha po natin. 67. Consecutive angles of a rhombus measure 2x plus 8 degrees and 68 degrees. What is x? Okay. Kung inyo pong mapapansin, or if you could still remember, ano po ba yung relationship ng consecutive angles ng isang rhombus? Consecutive angles are what? Are they congruent? Oh no, they are supplementary. And I do agree with Sir Chad and Ma'am Ayesa. So that's why tandaan po natin ha, sa isang parallelogram, gaya ng rhombus, square, at saka ng rectangle, tandaan po natin that consecutive angles are congruent and opposite angles are supplementary, are equal actually, I mean. So since consecutive silang dalawa, their sum has to be 180 degrees. Therefore, 2x plus 8 plus 68 equals 180. Dapat po supplementary sila. With such, I combined the like terms sa left-hand side. So 2x, 8 plus 68 will be plus 76 equals 180. Subtracting 76 both sides gives us 2x equals 104. Dividing both sides by 2, no, to isolate the x, we have x is equal to 52. Therefore, letter B po yung tamang sagot. Okay. Tandaan po natin ha, it's not only true for the rhombus, this concept is true for all parallelograms. Salamat po. That is, in any parallelogram, opposite angles are always congruent and consecutive angles are always supplementary. Salamat. 68. In a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, how long in centimeters is a side of a 30 degree opposite. May kulang po ata. Is a side opposite of 30 degrees. Saglit lang po ha. So how long is a side opposite of 30 degrees if the hypotenuse is 8 cm? Is it 4, 8, or dumoble ata yung 8, sorry, or 4 square root of 3? Okay. Okay, ano po yung sagot ninyo? Wag yung hugot lang, ha? Okay, sorry. Letter A po yung sagot ng karamihan. All right. Tandaan po natin, ha? Tandaan po natin. In a 30-60 degree, in a 30-60-90 right triangle, always remember that if your hypotenuse is 2x, the side opposite of 30 degrees is x. That's why always remember that the side opposite of your 30-degree angle is always 1/2 of your hypotenuse. And the side naman po, opposite of your 60-degree angle, is square root of 3 times the shorter leg po natin. Or it's square root of 3 times the length of the side opposite of your 30-degree angle, I mean. That's why the side opposite of 30-degree angle is 1/2 of your hypotenuse. Tandaan po natin yan. Ma'am Ayasa said 1/2 ng hypotenuse is opposite ng 30 degrees, okay? Pag adjacent, times square root of 3 lang ng side opposite of your 30 degrees. Tama. Therefore, if your hypotenuse is 8 cm, then the side opposite of a 30-degree angle should be 1/2 of 8 cm, which is 4 centimeters po. So sa lahat ng sumagot ng A, great job po. Okay, 68A. Okay, sa hugot lang tayo magaling, no? Biro lang po. Let's proceed to number 69. Okay, tingnan natin. The area of each of the equilateral triangles you consider is 2 cm. What? Okay, so like this po, this equilateral triangle here, it's 2 cm squared po yung area ng bawat isa dyan. What is the area of the yellow region in centimeters squared? Did you go for 5, 6, 7, or 8? Okay. Many of you answered letter B. Sabi ni Sir Chad, by symmetrical inspection and area flipping. Wow, area flipping. Sana all. By visualization, sabi ni Sir Jerome. And all of your answers are actually, all of your answers are correct kaya? Actually, bakit kaya B? No? Actually, marami pong ways. And one way is this. Kung inyo pong mapapansin, ito po. Dito po sa part na to, this triangle here, yung yellow na to, by symmetry, you could actually, it's like you cut this part and place it here. And this smaller part here, this one, could be cut and placed, it would fit perfectly here. And so you could see po that out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equilateral triangles, 3 of them will exactly be shaded. Therefore, we could say that the whole figure po has an area of 5 times 2 cm squared or 10 cm squared. Bakit ganon? Kasi nga 'di ba sabi sa problem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bawat isa ay 2 cm squared. So the area, if everything is shaded, so the whole thing will be 10 cm squared. But since the yellow region, as what I mentioned earlier, is just 3 out of the 5 parts. Thus, the yellow region is 3/5 the area of the whole figure. And it's 3/5 of 10 centimeters squared. Therefore, you got 6 centimeters squared. Letter B. So, may nagtatanong, bakit 3/5? Di ba 5 ito? So, ito po, like itong part na to, i-cut mo ito. At saka pwede po siyang ipatong dito, italpak dito. Wow, patong. Okay. At saka ito namang part na to, yung maliit na to, pwede mo siyang i-cut at saka ilagay din dito. Okay? That's why, kung mapapansin po ninyo, tatlo. So ito magiging one whole triangle. Ito magiging whole din to, whole. So 3 out of the 5 parts will be shaded. Okay? That's why it's 3/5 of the whole area. It's 3/5 of 10 centimeters squared, or that's letter P. Okay. Ilipat. Okay, yun yung tamang term. Ilipat. Okay. 70. How many degrees is the complement of the supplement of 105 degrees? Did you go for 15, 20, 35, or 45? All right. Marami yung sumagot ng letter A. Okay? So if you see something like this, let's see kung tama si A. You have to work from right to left. No? First, let's have the supplement of 105 degrees. Ilan po yung supplement ng 105 degrees? Di ba supplement is 180? So 180 minus 105. So the supplement of 105 degrees is 75 degrees. Tama po. Salamat. At now, we will take the complement of the supplement of 105 degrees. Since the supplement of 105 is already 75, the complement of 75 degrees is how much? Ano yung complement ng 75 degrees? Very good. It is actually 15 degrees. Letter A. All right. Tama nga naman. Okay lang po. Sige lang po. Laban lang. 71. How many cubes with edge 5 cm could fit inside a rectangular prism with dimensions 1 meter by 40 cm by 3 dm? Sige lang po, Sir Jerome. No worries po. Laban lang. Letter D daw. Sabi ni Sir Chad, Sir Jason, Ma'am Nurse, Ma'am Ayesa, Sir Crispin. Okay. Tingnan natin. So to determine the number of cubes, no, we can divide the volume. For this case, take note po, you can only do this because you could see that 1 meter is divisible by 5. 40 cm is divisible by 5 cm. We can actually convert everything first po muna into cm. So we can divide the volume of the rectangular prism by the volume of your cube. Okay? But I have to express everything in the same unit. So the 1 meter will be expressed as 100 cm. And yung 3 dm, remember 1 decimeter is equal to 10 centimeter. So 3 dm is equal to 30 cm. That's why laging yung volume niya ay 100 cm times 40 cm times 30 cm over the volume of your cube, which is 5 cm times 5 cm times 5 cm. Diba? Yung volume ng prism, rectangular prism, ay length times width times height. Whereas for the volume of your cube, that's simply s cubed, or s times s times s. 100 divided by 5 will be 20, 40 divided by 5 will be 8, and 30 divided by 5 divided by 5 will be 6. And their product is 960. Hence, meron pong letter, meron pong 960 cubes na pwedeng mag-fit sa loob. Letter D. All right. 72. What is the slope of a line parallel to 2x minus 3y equals 6? Did you go for negative 1/2, negative 3/2, 2/3, or negative 1/3? Okay. Marami pong sumagot ng C. Slope po ha? Okay. And remember po natin that we can solve for the slope, no, by solving y in terms of x. So dito, in the given equation, I added negative 2x both sides. And that becomes negative 3y equals negative 2x. Yung 2x magiging negative 2x siya sa right-hand side plus 6. And since we're solving for y only, we will divide each term po by 3. No? So negative 3y divided by 3 will be y. Negative 2x divided by negative 3 will be 2/3 x. Positive 6 divided by negative 3 will be negative 2 or minus 2. And you could see that this is now the slope-intercept form of your line. And this is now in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope. Kung anong number po yung kasama ng x mo, so yun po yung slope. Hence, your slope here is 2/3, and your b or your y-intercept is negative 2. Pero tandaan po natin ha, parallel lines have equal slopes. Therefore, the line parallel to this line should also have a slope of 2/3. Letter C. 73. What is the slope of the line perpendicular to the line connecting negative 5, 1 and negative 2, 4? Okay. Okay. X daw. Sige lang po. Bawi lang po. 73A, sabi ng mga nag-comment. All right. Let's see first. First and foremost, let's compute po muna for the slope of the 2 points. And I hope we can still remember the formula for slope, which is m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, where the numerator represents the change in x and the denominator represents the change, the numerator represents the change in y and the denominator represents the change in x. Negative 5 will be x sub 1. 1 will be y sub 1. Negative 2 will be x sub 2 and 4 will be y sub 2. By substitution po, m is equal to 4 minus 1 for your numerator. For the denominator, that's negative 2 minus negative 5. That's why you have this one here po. This simplifies to 3 over 3 or 1, no? So 1 po yung slope natin. Pero yung hinahanap po ngayon is perpendicular po, di ba? And I hope you could still remember that two lines that are neither horizontal nor vertical are perpendicular if their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other or the product of their slopes is negative 1. And therefore, be careful po, Sir Jason, negative reciprocal po. Okay? So, chine-change pa natin. After mo kunin yung reciprocal niya, yes po, kailangan po natin i-switch yung sign. Yung positive nagiging negative, yung negative nagiging positive. That's why, ano po yung negative reciprocal ni 1? Ang negative reciprocal ni 1 ay negative 1. Therefore, we are sure that the slope of the line perpendicular to this segment joining these 2 points is negative 1 po. So letter A, yung tamang sagot. So far, so good po mga kaguro. Padayon lang. 74. The segment connecting 1, negative 2, and 3, 5 is parallel to the segment connecting 3, negative 4, and 7A. What is the value of it? Is it 10, 11, 12, or 13? Okay. Tingnan pa, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so far we have around 7 or 8 people who commented letter A. I'm just curious, ano pong process yung ginawa ninyo? That is, bakit A? Ano pong process yung ginawa ninyo? It is because slope formula. I do agree with the slope formula, no? And tandaan po natin that two lines are parallel if they have equal slopes. So yung ginawa ko po ay, we know that two parallel lines have equal slopes and actually they have different y-intercepts. So using still the same formula po kanina, ito po no, yung unang, for the first pair of points, yung slope niya ay 5 minus negative 2 all over 3 minus 1. And for the other line po, the slope is a minus negative 4 all over 7 minus 3. 5 minus negative 2 will become 5 plus 2 or 7 over 3 minus 1, which is 2, equals a minus negative 4 becomes, di ba, minus minus becomes plus. So 5, naging a plus 4 po ito all over 7 minus 3, which is 4. By multiplication property of equality, sabi nila cross multiplication daw, 7 times 4 will give you 28. And 2 multiplied by the quantity a plus 4 gives you 2a plus 8. Then, adding negative 8 both sides para ma-isolate yung term na may a. Naging 20 equals 2a po siya. Dividing both sides by 2 will give you a is equal to 10. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng a, tama po kayo. Congratulations. I hope na nakuha po natin yung explanation. 75. If the point 3, 7 lies in the line y equals mx plus 1, find them. Is it A, B, C, or D? All right. So I think this one is pretty straightforward. Remember that in the 3, 7, 3 is x sub 1. 3 is your x, and 7 is your y. So by substitution here, that becomes 7 is equal to m times 3 plus 1. M times 3 is 3m. Then this plus 1 on the right side will become minus 1 on the left-hand side. So 7 minus 1 is 6. That's why you have the equation 6 equals 3m. Dividing both sides by 3, you get m equals 2. Letter T. Let's proceed now to the next item kung wala pong tanong. Salamat po. Find the distance between the origin and the point 4, negative 3. Is it 5, 7, 9, or 10? For this one, di ba 2 points yung given? Now, we can utilize the distance formula between 2 points. So, letter A yata yung karamihan. Okay. Which takes the form D is equal to the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. Di ba origin has coordinate 0, 0? And 1 point is 4, negative 3. So let's say 0, 0, this is x sub 1, y sub 1. In 4, negative 3, this is x sub 2, y sub 2. By substitution to our formula, t is equal to the square root of the quantity, 4 minus 0 quantity squared, plus negative 3 minus 0 quantity squared. What's inside simplifies to 4 squared plus negative 3 squared. 4 squared is 16, negative 3 quantity squared is 9, and 16 plus 9 is 25. But we have to get the square root of 25, right? Which is 5. Hence, the points 0, 0 and 4, negative 3 are actually 5 units apart. Letter A. Wow, good job. Marami yata nakaka-perfect nito. Or let's say mga higher 30s yung score. 77. Find the minimum value of y of the parabola y is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 5. Is it 0, 1, 2, or 3? Remember po natin that a parabola has a minimum value if it is opening upward because the vertex is the lowest point. All right? According to Sir Chad, yung hinahanap natin dito ay ang coordinate ng vertex, and I do agree with that as well. Marami pong paraan upang gawin ito. You can use the vertex formula. In my case, I will be using completing the square po. You could also use calculus. Exactly. You could take the derivative and equate that to 0. No? Tama po. So ito naman po yung ginawa ko. So I group together muna yung x squared. Lahat ng may x, ginupo ko. Yan na naman tayo. Lahat ng may x, isang group. So that's why I grouped inside the parenthesis x squared minus 4x. Then yung walang x, yung constant plus 5 na lang. Sir Francisco, tawa ka lang dyan. Okay? Sige. So next, we will employ completing the square po. Because the numerical coefficient, the leading coefficient of the term here, no, of the polynomial here is already 1. So yeah, we can use by completing the square po, no, i-divide po natin yung coefficient ni x by 2, then square the result. -4 divided by 2 is -2. -2 quantity squared is 4. So plus 4 po tayo sa loob. Pero notice nyo po, dahil nag-plus 4 po tayo sa loob, dapat -4 po tayo sa labas. Kasi we are working only on one side. Diba? And to maintain equality, if you are working only on one side, whatever added to the left side, to one side, should also be subtracted on that same side. And x squared minus 4x plus 4 now is a perfect square trinomial, which is now factored, could be factored or could be expressed sa square of a binomial, no? Which is x minus 2 quantity squared. Tapos yung labas naman ay 5 minus 4, which is plus 1. The minimum value of y, so if this is now the vertex form of your quadratic equation, and take note, the minimum value of y could be determined if x minus 2 quantity squared is 0. And to make x minus 2 quantity squared 0, of course, x has to be 2. That's why the minimum value of y can be achieved when x is equal to 2, and that minimum value is 1. And to make the long story short po, kung ano po yung constant sa labas, yan na po yung tamang sagot. Letter T. Okay. Exactly. That's actually correct po, Sir Chad. It's a trivial inequality, no? That's why that x squared is greater than or equal to 0 for all real x's. Di kagaya ng mga x natin. Joke. Sir Chad, grabe ka. Okay. Good. 78. I hope na nakuha po natin yung item 77 po. Alright. 78. If a parabola opens downward, then the vertex is it a minimum, a maximum, either minimum or maximum, or D, neither minimum nor maximum? Let's see. Oh, maraming nagsasabing maximum daw. Let's see. Take note that when we say minimum, the lowest point. When we say maximum, it's the highest point. So if you could see po, if this is a parabola that opens upward, the vertex is the lowest or the minimum point. However, if the parabola opens downward, you could see that the vertex is the highest point or the maximum point. That's why, tandaan po natin, if a parabola opens downward, then the vertex is always a maximum point. Letter B. Siya po yung pinakamataas dyan na point dyan. At wala nang iba. Okay, malapit na po tayo. 79. When the polynomial p of x is divided by x squared minus 4, the quotient is x squared plus 1, and the remainder is x minus 7. What is p of 1? Did you go for 4, 1, -12, or -14? All right, wow. So far we have 5 people who answered, or 6 or 7 ata. And they all answered letter C so far. Yung kay Sir Chad, hinanap niya talaga yung actual polynomial. But actually, Sir Chad, this is okay. But no worries, no? Even if you don't express the polynomial in standard form or in general form, it's still okay. Actually, remember po natin ha, that the given polynomial is equal to the quotient times the divisor plus the remainder. This is actually a basic concept po. And by substitution, tandaan po natin ha, yan po talaga yung itsura niya. By replacing q of x by x squared plus 1, the divisor was x squared minus 4. I replaced it as well as there. Your remainder was x minus 7, like that. No? That's why, ito po yung itsura niya. But how come it's not necessary really to multiply? Kasi yung hinahanap is not naman yung standard form. Yung hinahanap ay p of 1, di po ba? So if we have p of 1, we will replace all x's by 1. And doing such gives us p of 1 equals, dito po, x, this is 1 squared plus 1. Dito naman po ay nagiging 1 squared minus 4 plus 1 minus 7. 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. So it's here. Next, 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. And plus 1 minus 7 is minus 6. Be careful po, that's not times negative 6. It's minus 6. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12. That's why letter C po yung tamang sagot. That's why in my case, hindi ko na po pinahirapan yung self ko. Na-substitute ko na lang po yung x agad-agad. So letter C po talaga yung tamang sagot. But anyway, if you simplify the polynomial and substitute it, you will still get the same answer din naman po. So no worries. And number 80 po tayo. Find the value of k so that x plus 1 is a factor of p of x equals x to the fourth minus 4x cubed minus x plus k. Is it negative 8, negative 7, negative 6, or negative 5? The one na papalit sa x. Saglit ha. In this case, we can actually use now the factor theorem or the remainder theorem, depende po sa inyo. Factor theorem na lang po. That is, di ba? Your divisor here is x plus 1. According sa using the factor theorem, i-equate ko po yung divisor na x plus 1 sa 0. So if x plus 1 is equal to 0, it means x is negative 1, right? Tama? And after doing such, lahat po ng x will be replaced by negative 1. So I will evaluate the expression at x equals negative 1 at i-equate po siya sa 0. Bakit ko po siya i-equate sa 0? Kasi kung factor siya, dapat yung remainder natin 0. That's why I have p of negative 1 is equal to negative 1 quantity to the fourth minus 4 times the cube of negative 1 minus negative 1 plus k equals 0. And simplifying po, negative 1 to the fourth is 1. Negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative 4 times negative 1 will be plus 4. Negative of minus negative 1 will become plus 1 plus k equals 0. For the left side, 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. So 6 plus k equals 0 po. And adding both sides and subtracting both sides by 6 gives us k equals negative 6. Letter C. So if you got C, great job. But if not, it's still a learning experience for everyone. And that concludes our review for tonight. Thank you very much and a great day to one and all.